I guess we are live. If you can hear my voice and if you can see the video, please do let me know. Let me just check if it has gone live. I think we are live. Okay. Yeah. So before, okay, first of all, welcome to the live session of Ekcel Academy's CSEET program. Today we'll be looking at logical reasoning subject. And before we proceed towards this subject as such, let me just briefly introduce you to the Ekcel Academy. So now, with respect to Ekcel Academy, we have been conducting online classes since at least 3 years now, even before the pandemic hit us. And of course, we have been conducting classes for CS executive as well as foundation, including professional, since almost 8-9 years now. Now, with respect to the online classes, how we are different from others, at least according to me, is we don't shoot classroom videos. It's not as if teachers will be standing in a classroom and teaching and then the videos are shot and passed off as online classes. No, that's not something which happens at Ekcel. What we do is we shoot videos exclusively for online consumption itself. So that's how all these videos, which are already uploaded on our website as well as on our app, have been shot. And here you can see the faculty members who will be handling various subjects for CSEET, starting with CS Alok, then Professor Amcharan, Professor Madhuri, then Professor Purnama Madam, and finally myself. So we will be handling the various subjects. You can see the list of the subjects which we will be handling. And also the thing with Ekcel is it's not just that the recorded classes are made available to you and you are on your own after that. No, it doesn't work like that. What happens is once you go through the classes, obviously you will have doubts. So then to make sure that you feel comfortable studying online as well as to clarify your doubts, what we will be doing from our side is we'll be first of all mentoring you daily. There is something known as daily mentorship program at Ekcel, wherein someone from our team will be in touch with you constantly to make sure that you are up to date with the videos, you are not lagging behind with respect to the time available for you between now and your exam date. And usually once in a week, we will schedule at least one or two classes for the doubt clearing sessions. Let's say you have 2-3 doubts with respect to logical reasoning itself. Then what we will do is we'll schedule a class, let's say on Friday, Thursday, Saturday, whenever it is. And then there you'll interact with the teacher and get your doubts clarified. So this is how it works. And of course, we won't stop there. We'll be providing you with lots of MCQs because the pattern of the exam is such that all you have to do is just look at the questions and click the right answer. So that will also be made available to you. And mock exams will be there. And of course, there are various bonus videos also. Now, if at all you're interested, what you can do is just follow the link in the description. And I would say, what's the harm in even checking out the classes which are already available free of cost? There are so many videos for CSEET which are there on our YouTube channel as well as on the website which are available free of cost. All you have to do is just check it out once even before you buy the course. And there is a sale which is going on currently and it ends on 24th Jan next week, sometime in fact this week. So I would suggest try out the course, try out the free videos which are already available, whether it's on app or on website or on YouTube. And then if at all you're interested, I'm sure you will be, you can buy the entire course. In fact, if I have the list, yeah. So this is our website. You can just check it out, excelacademy.com, EKCEL. So see, this is the syllabus for logical reasoning. We have business communication, 26 lessons, and each lesson will be usually roughly an hour or so, and 86 lessons in legal aptitude, logical reasoning, 24 lessons, economic and business environment, and of course, current affairs and viva voce. All these are already uploaded. And these, once again, are shot and created exclusively for online consumption. Okay. Anyway, that's about Ekcel Academy and the online classes of Ekcel Academy. What we will do right now is look at the overall subject, that is logical reasoning, and see what exactly the subject is all about, because this is a new subject for the CS course. For the first time, the institute has done something right. Usually when they change syllabus, they try to solve a problem which never existed at the first place. But here, thankfully, they have introduced a subject which is really useful, not only for company secretary students, but for anyone who is interested in learning new stuff. Okay. Anyway, so this subject logical reasoning, let me just look at the syllabus first. Yeah, this, by the way, is the syllabus. Let me just check if there are any questions. Okay. Rohan says, okay, 5 people. Okay. Chandramati has a question. Rohan, you are not the only one, so we are all here. Chandramati, for CSEET exam, IOS is there or not? I think so far the institute has not clarified that. Unless the institute tells otherwise, we'll assume that the Vivos will also be there for, Vivos, I don't think they will be able to conduct. Last time what they did was they replaced it with something else. This time also they may do that. So you never know. Institute usually, when it comes to things like this, they will communicate at the last moment. So you better be prepared for both the eventualities. In any case, once we get to know, we will confirm the same. That's for sure. So yeah, with respect to the syllabus, of course, these are the other subjects. And where is this? Here we are. Logical reasoning is, of course, part of legal aptitude, that is paper 2. Legal aptitude and logical reasoning both together form that paper, and 50 marks is allotted for this subject. Like all the other subjects, 4 subjects are there, each subject carries 50 marks, and this part, that is logical reasoning, is for 50% of that 50, that is 25, and remaining 50% is for legal aptitude. Anyway, so now the list of topics in logical reasoning is huge. You just can't skip any topic. Let me state this first itself, because I have seen students asking this question: can we skip any particular topic? No, there is no way you can skip any topic, because there is no set methodology or scheme which has been released with the institute wherein they say you will get these type of questions from this chapter or this module. Nothing of that sort has been released, and therefore we can expect questions from any nook and corner of this particular module. And by the way, with respect to CSEET, we do not have study material. Fortunately or unfortunately, that is the state. Normally for executive or for professional, we will have study material. Of course, the study material released by the institute itself. Whereas here, we do not have study material. What we have is just kind of guidance given by the institute as to what kind of material should be read by the students. That's all we have. Okay. Anyway, starting with logical reasoning itself, what they have done is they have divided logical reasoning into 3 different parts: logical reasoning, verbal reasoning, and non-verbal reasoning. And in logical reasoning, we have various subtopics like calendars, one of the most interesting topics and very easy to understand. Cause and effect reasoning, why something happens, what might be the cause for that cause and effect. All this, fortunately, has got to do only with logic. This is one of those subjects why I really like institute for doing this, or rather introducing this, is you do not have to memorize anything. More often than not, when it comes to professional courses like this, much of your result depends on how much can you memorize. Whereas here, when it comes to logical reasoning, there is nothing which is based on your memory. All you have to do is this: think logically. If you are someone who has enough common sense in you, then you can easily not only pass but score good marks here. 25 marks out of 200 is not less, especially in courses like this. Anyway, so calendars, cause and effect, clocks, usually they ask questions related to angle, etc. All these can be easily solved. It doesn't require too much of effort. Okay. Coding and decoding, this is interesting, wherein they will give you code, examples of codes, and then there'll be another problem based on that, and we'll have to decode looking at the example which is already there in the question. That is something which we have to do. Okay. Then deriving conclusion from passages. This is actually easy, but you will not be expected to ask these, answer these type of questions, because usually from at least last 2 attempts, what we have seen is they have not asked any question from that particular topic, because they'll have to give an entire passage, and based on that they'll have to ask questions. So, but you never know. Institute is known to be unpredictable, which is good in a way. Then drawing inference. So something will be given, based on that we'll have to draw inference or rather conclusion as to what exactly is happening there. The number test, sequence series, statement and assumptions, all these are again, once again, either based on numbers or on alphabets. Bulk of the topic is based on that. Okay. A to Z, 1 to infinity, all those things, easy to understand, not very difficult. Verbal reasoning. This is also interesting. Here it's all about language mostly. If you understand the language, then the rest is really a mere cakewalk. Alphabet test, and one thing which I have noticed here is the institute is very inconsistent when it comes to the classification of topics between. They classify something as logical reasoning for no reason. Something will be classified under verbal reasoning again for no reason. So it is not a very strict classification, but we are not bothered about the classification, right? For us, what matters is whether the topic is part of the syllabus or not. Since these topics are also already part of the syllabus, we will not worry too much about whether it is actually verbal reasoning or something else. Okay. Having said that, let us look at the other topics which are there here. Analogy is there, assertion and reason. Again, that is interesting. Blood relations, one of the most interesting topics and one of my favorite topics. So this is again can be easily decoded or answered if you understand the logic here. Decision making. Again, I don't think they will ask questions based on this because it involves lengthy questions. Usually institute skips those type of questions. And also the problem here is, since the exams are conducted using the proctored mode, wherein you will be seated at home and the institute will be monitoring you through the webcam, etc. What they have done is they have disallowed the use of calculator or working paper. That's slightly unfair because there are topics here. In fact, most of the topics I would say here involve calculations. If you're not allowed to use calculator, or if you're not allowed to use the paper and pen to calculate or work out, then how are you expected to answer such questions? Of course, the institute says you'll have to use your mental ability. For every question, they use the same answer. They say mental ability has to be used by the student to answer such questions. How can we do that? Have they shown any such examples where they have applied their mental ability and solved these type of questions? Of course not. But you are expected to do that. You may say institute is unfair. That's how it is. You have taken up the course. You'll have to do it. But fortunately for us, 9 out of 10 questions will not be of that type. So that solves our problem to a great extent. Anyway, next, what do we have? Inserting missing characters, simple, cakewalk, nothing much. Logical sequence test, logical Venn diagram, all these are again based on logic. Number ranking and time sequence test, syllogism. This syllogism is really very interesting. One of my favorite topics after blood relations. Again, when we come to syllogism, you'll know. Okay. Of course, today we won't be able to do anything to do with syllogism because we have a limited time, and of course we cannot touch upon all the topics in detail, but that is a very interesting topic, I would say. Search for all these topics online. One good thing is this type of logical reasoning is not exclusive only for ICSI's CSEET course. It is there in every other course. Take up any competitive exam, you'll have all these topics. And when it comes to CSEET, the level is not, let's say, that of IAS level. If you consider that as the highest level, this is not even the lowest. It is somewhere between the lowest and the highest level. So those are the kind of questions which you may expect in the final exam. And one unfortunate thing which I have seen is, when it comes to executive, when it comes to professional, the institute publishes the guideline answers as well as the question papers on their website without fail. That is a good thing. Of course, institute should do that. But unfortunately for CSEET, you will not be able to see any questions. There are no questions put up on the website. So far, they have conducted 2 exams. Where are the questions of those 2 exams? If at all someone has taken up CSEET and he or she wants to know the kind of questions which the institute asks, can they see those questions on the website? Of course not. Then how are you expected to pass this exam? That's how it is. You have to use your mental ability according to institute. Anyway, thankfully it won't be that tough. As I said, it is somewhere in the middle, the level of questions which they ask. So that is one thing. Then what else? Yeah, and one more thing which I have noticed is the institute every month they release this update for CSEET. There is something called as bulletin, e-bulletin, which they release every month. Utter waste when it comes to logical reasoning. They won't even ask one question out of that. Okay, at least so far they haven't. Hopefully in future they will. But and in those bulletin, what they do is they will pick the questions from the reference material itself and then copy paste the same there. What's the point? If at all you're coming out with something new, that is this bulletin, insert new questions now, so that students will get to know what kind of questions the institute will ask in the final exam. What's the point of repeating the same questions which are already there in the reference material? It defeats the purpose, right? Anyway, that's about the verbal reasoning. Truth tellers and liars, again they won't be able to ask that. It's descriptive type of question. Non-verbal reasoning, these are usually based on diagrams, like analytical reasoning. Again, it's a repetition. It was already there in logical reasoning. Once again, it is repeated, but with diagrams. Completion of incomplete pattern. This is a very interesting topic, and once you see that, you will get to know what exactly I'm talking about. I would suggest, if at all you have taken up CSEET, and if you're waiting for the reference material to arrive, don't wait. It's already there on the website. Download it, go through that, and don't stop there. Normally, for executive and for professional, what we say is first read the institute material. Then, if at all you are well versed with the institute material, then maybe you can take up something else, maybe some new textbook, etc. But when it comes to logical reasoning, you cannot just read the reference material and expect to pass. That is not something which will happen, because the questions which are there in the reference material, I would say, are on the easier side. So what we have done in our classes, that is Ekcel Academy's online classes, is we have considered other questions as well apart from the reference material questions. In fact, most of the questions which I have solved in those video classes are not from reference material, for a reason. What a reason? That the institute itself does not ask questions based on reference material. So that is what we learned after the first attempt of CSEET. So I would suggest you to search for all these topics. Plenty of material is available online. Okay, so download those questions, or just have a look at those questions. You will get an idea as to what this topic is all about and what type of questions are there. And also, it will be easy for you to assess yourself. So that's what I believe when it comes to these questions in the reference material. Again, the other topics are again based on diagrams like rule detection or mirror image. So they'll be in let's say series of letters. They will be asked to select the mirror image of those letters. Let imagine how exactly it would look in a mirror. Rule detection again is very nice. You'll have to look at the figures, you'll have to observe and see what is the rule which those items are following, and based on that you'll have to select the next option out of the 4 options given. And one good thing about CSEET is, unlike the executive or professional, there is no negative marking here. Okay, so there is no way you can leave any question unanswered. First, you will have to answer all those questions which you are comfortable with. Like, I mean, you look at the question, you are sure of the answer. First, answer all those. Then come back again once you're done with all the questions and try to guess what might be the right answer for those questions which you're not sure of. That is something which you can follow. Because anyway, what's the harm? Obviously, you will not lose marks. If at all your guess is right, at least you will get marks. No? So that's about the syllabus in brief. Now what we'll do is we'll try to look at the look at one of the topics. Before that, let me just briefly touch upon the definition of logic, or rather what the reference material says about logic. Then we will proceed towards other things. Now, as I said, this is part B of the subject. Part A refers to legal aptitude. Then when it comes to part B, so we have the reference material. Of course, whatever is there in the reference material has been copied from some source online. Just copy this, search on Google, you will find the original source. So then you can read that in detail. So that is something which you can do. For instance, this first page was also copied from something else. For example, there are so many mistakes here. In the contemporary perspective, Alison Doyle, that is the actual name of the author, they say Doyle Alison, in her article, not his, it is she's lady, The Importance of Logical Thinking in the Workplace, that's the book, stated that logical thinkers, what they do, observe and analyze phenomena, reactions, and feedback. So you do all this, and then based on that, you draw conclusions. You will not draw conclusions just based on your whims and fancies. You observe, then you analyze, and then you come to some valid conclusions on those inputs. Basically, those are inputs. Which are inputs? Observing, analyzing phenomena and reactions. After doing all this, you come out with the outcome, okay, or rather output. Now, somewhere they have mentioned something. Okay, this is just the diagram here. That is not required for us. All this talks about the basis of logical reasoning. In fact, I would say this the word logic is from Greek word logos. It means thought or thinking or word. So there are various meanings attached to it. You can assign any meaning which you feel is logical. So that is the basis of this word logical reasoning. And as you can see here, there are two types of logical reasoning. One is, of course, the deductive reasoning, which is mostly used, and the other one is inductive reasoning, which goes beyond deductive reasoning. Now, what is this deductive reasoning and what is this inductive reasoning? Think of, let's say, a detective. Okay, think of Sherlock Holmes. Now, what would Sherlock Holmes do? He would look at the crime scene, he will look at the clues which are there, and based on that, he would come to some conclusion. Okay, so that is deductive reasoning. He will deduce. In fact, somewhere in the book, the science of deduction is mentioned. If you look at Arthur Conan Doyle, the person who wrote the Sherlock Holmes series, somewhere they mention the art of deduction. Once again, what to do? You look at Sherlock Holmes looks at the crime scene. He will look for clues. He will observe whatever is there, and based on that, he will come to some conclusion. So that is nothing but deductive reasoning. Now, this inductive reasoning goes beyond that. What we do here, that is in inductive reasoning, is we look at things, how it occurred in the past. Okay, so this is very important element of deductive reasoning. How the things are in the present, that also we do. We look at what happened in the past, we look at what is happening in the present, and based on that, we try to arrive at some what can I say, decision, or rather prediction for the future. So that's what we do in case of inductive reasoning. Both are important. Deductive reasoning works at some places, inductive reasoning works at some places. So, but these are the two types of logical reasoning, and in our process of solving the problems, we will be using both deductive reasoning as well as inductive reasoning. That is something which we do. Now, if you have to think of an example for inductive reasoning, I would say, let's say, let me think. Okay, let me give you an example. So let's assume last Thursday, or rather, since 2 years, the employees of some shopping mall, okay, what they're doing is, on every, today is Tuesday, right? On every Tuesday, they wear formal dress, or rather they have been wearing formal dress since last 2 years. On every Tuesday, the shopping mall employees are wearing formal dress. Okay, this is what we have observed. What is this? This is what has happened in the past. Now, today being a Tuesday, today there is a Tuesday, the shopping mall employees are wearing once again the formal attire. Since past 2 years, they have been wearing the formal attire on all the Tuesdays. Today being a Tuesday, they're wearing formal attire. Now, based on this, what is the conclusion which we can arrive at, or what prediction can we make? The prediction which we can make is, next Tuesday and the Tuesdays after that also, the shopping mall employees will definitely wear formal attire. So this is a classic example for deductive reasoning, sorry, inductive reasoning. Okay, so it's kind of observing what has happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and based on that, we'll make a prediction for the future. So that was about deductive and inductive reasoning. Again, I know we don't have time to go through all the topics, even though I would want to. So what we will do is we'll take up one such topic from your syllabus itself and then try to understand what exactly is happening there. Okay. So now the topic which I have picked is that of leap years. We all know about leap year. Okay, but maybe some of you might not know why exactly we have this leap years. Okay, let me try to break down the concept of leap year in a simple manner. So one thing which we know is in a year we will have 365 days. Okay, so these 365 days make up 1 year. If that is the case, why is that every once in 4 years we will have one extra day? Okay, we know once in 4 years we'll have one extra day, and that year wherein we will have one extra day, that is in the month of February, is called leap year. For instance, 2020 was a leap year, right? So now why did we have one extra day in case of 2020? That we will see now. Okay, so with respect to the number of days in a year, what we have to understand here is it is not exactly 365 days. That is the problem here. If it was exactly 365 days, then there wouldn't have been any issue with regard to leap year at all. There would not be any extra days at all once in 4 years. But now the problem here is 1 year is actually not only 365, but plus 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds. That means 365 days, 365 days plus this makes up 1 year. But what we are doing here in the process of rounding off, we are ignoring this additional 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds every year. By doing that, we are actually not being arithmetically accurate when it comes to number of days in a year. We can't do that forever, right? At some point of time, it will get accumulated and the seasons will start changing because you are ignoring this. Not, it won't happen in a jiffy, but it will take some time. But even then, it is something which is inaccurate. To overcome this problem, what we do is we will round it off as 6 hours. 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds is rounded off as 6 hours. That means every year we have additional 6 hours, which we are not taking into account at all. So what we have done is this 6 hours, when it happens or when we ignore the 6 hours for 4 years, what will happen? We get 24 hours, don't we? So now we have one additional day, one whole day. When did this happen? Over a period of 4 years. First year we ignored, so we accumulated 6 hours. Second year we ignored, we again accumulated 6, now it has become 12. Third year also we ignored, now it has become 18. Fourth year, it has become 24 hours. Now, for that reason, every fourth year we add one additional day. That's why in case of leap years, we have this one extra day. But you may ask one question now. See, we said initially it's not exactly 365, but instead 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, 46 seconds. The thing which is very important here is 5 hours, 48 minutes, 46 seconds. But what I did just now was I rounded it off to 6 hours. What if I do not round it off? Okay, if I do not round it off, what will happen? We will see that now. What I did was 6 hours into, okay, let me just write down here. 6 into 4 years. equals 24 hours. We will consider the 5 years, 48 minutes, 46 seconds as it is, and then see how exactly it will work out. 5 hours into 4 years once again. This will be 20 hours, or if you have to convert that into seconds, 72,000 seconds. Okay. Then 48 minutes into 4 years, that would be 192 minutes. Once again, if I have to convert that into seconds, that would be 11,520 seconds. I've already done the math here. That's why I just opened the reference material. Then what about the seconds? 46 seconds into 4 years. That would be 184 seconds. I'll just retain as it is. So now if I add all that, I will end up with 83,704 seconds. This is the additional time which we are having because we have ignored those 5 hours, 48 minutes, 46 seconds. This is accumulated over a period of 4 years. What is the total additional time which we have accumulated over a period of 4 years? 83,704 seconds. This is very important. Okay. Now, what I will do is I will try to convert this back to hours. 83,704 seconds divided by each hour will have obviously 60 minutes, and those minute will have 60 seconds. So what we can do is we can convert this by dividing by 3600. So that will be okay, 83,704 divided by 3600. Okay, 23.25. Okay, why did I divide that by 3600? Very simple. Every hour will have 60 minutes and each minute will have 60 seconds. So 60 into 60, 3,600. So now when you convert this back to hours, you will get 23.2511 hours. So once again, how many hours have we accumulated over a period of 4 years? We have not exactly accumulated 24, but instead we have only accumulated 23.2511 hours. Clear? So now what we have done is we have once again rounded it off to 24 and considered it as a day, but still it will be a mistake. Okay, mistake to the extent of 0.7489. That is the difference between 24 and 23.2511. So this is the extra hour which we are adding every 4th year. Every 4th year, we are adding 0.7489 hours additionally. Okay. This will not make much of a difference in 4 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. But over a period of 100 years, this will definitely make some amount of difference. So what we do is we will count that and do something. We'll see what exactly that is. Let's say, let us take the example of 100 years. What we'll do in 100 years. Now, in 100 years, how many leap years will be there? That's very simple. All you have to do is just divide by 4, right? So now, what I will do is I will ignore the 100th year. So if I divide by 4, I'll get 25 years. So I will ignore 100th year. Therefore, 25 minus 1, 24 leap years. Okay, that is what we have in case of 100 years. Now, in these 24 leap years, what we have done is we have added, what was the additional time? 0.7489. 0.7489. That means we have added 17.9736 hours additionally, even though they were not there at the first place. Okay, let me round it off to 18 hours. This is what we have done over a period of how many years? Over a period of 100 years. Okay. So therefore, to ignore this 18 additional hours, what we do is every 100th year, even though it comes once in every 4 years, or rather any number divisible by 4 is a leap year. In case of 100th year, that will also be divisible by 4, but for this reason, we will do one thing, we will make it a non-leap year. But we are only looking at 18 hours, no? We are only looking at 18 hours. Why should we make 100th year non-leap year? Very simple, because we will ignore those 6 hours. Once again, we are ignoring something. Even though additional 18 hours have been added, we are ignoring entire 24 hours when every 100th year. Okay. Look at any 100th year, you will notice that it will not be a leap year. Why? Because over a period of 100 years, we have accumulated additional 18 hours. Now you may ask one more question. We don't stop here actually, because still it's not looking accurate, because what about this 6 hours then? We had only accumulated 18 extra hours, but you are ducking one full day, that is 24 hours. How does it make any sense? Of course, it doesn't make. Now, this additional 6 hours which are ducking over a period of 400 years, over a period of 400 years, that means 4 centuries, that means we will be deducting 600, or rather 4 into 6 hours, that is 24 hours. Unnecessarily, we deducted 24 hours over a period of how many years? 400 years. So therefore, what we do is, every 400th year, even though it is a century year, what we will do is, we will convert that into a leap year. Again, I know it's confusing a bit. Let's take a step back and let's go back here. Once in 4 years, there is this additional time which we are converting into one leap year. So once in 4 years, what is the additional time which we have here? That is 23 point something. Okay, 23.2511. So because of that, we are converting that into 24. Because of that, there arises some difference. What is the difference? 0.7489. This doesn't make much sense over a period of 3-4 years, but over 100 years it gets accumulated. If it gets accumulated, how much will it come to? It comes to 18 hours. So what we do, every 100th year, we consider that as a non-leap year, but it's only 18 hours. If you duck out or if you deduct one day, you will actually lose 24 hours. So in the process of ignoring this additional time, we are actually ignoring 6 hours. So to make up for those 6 hours, when does this happen? Happen once in 100 years. So if you consider 4 centuries, 4 centuries into 6 hours, that will be 24 hours. So once again, every 4th century, it will be a leap year. To summarize this, if a particular year is divisible by 4, it's a leap year. Okay. But whereas when it comes to century years, any, like for example, 1900. Okay. 1900, is it divisible by 4? Yes. Okay. We won't stop there. The second question which we will ask here is it, that is 1900, divisible by 400 as well? The answer is no. Then 1900 is not a leap year. That is how we look at all these years. Now, let me use the same principle for year 2000. 2000, is it divisible by 4? Yes. Okay. Now, the second question would be, is 2000 divisible by 400? Why 400? Because we have this error once in 4 centuries. Again, the answer is yes. Then it will be a leap year. Okay. So this is how we decide whether a particular year is leap year or not. So if you can, actually you can apply this principle for all the century years. Take some century year, for example, 1800, and apply the same principle. Then go back and check the calendar. Of course, everything is available online. You can just simply search for that year's calendar. You will see that whether the year is a leap year or not. If you haven't followed this in one go, I would suggest go back. Once the live session ends, rewatch the same video again. I'm sure you will understand. All that you require is a pen and paper to calculate, and it will be easy for you to understand why a particular year is a leap year and why certain years, even though it is divisible by 4, is still not considered as a leap year. So that was about leap years. I hope you have understood the topic. Again, I wanted to touch upon various other topics as well, but if I take up one topic now, again, it will go on for hours. So if at all you have any doubts with regard to leap years, you may ask in the chat, or once the video ends, you can leave your comments below the video. I will try to get back to you. So if there are no questions, what I will do is I will end the live session now. And thank you for attending the live session. Hope it was useful. Hope you learned something new today. That is the topic of the leap years. If you like this live session, I would suggest please take a look at Ekcel Academy's um, playlist of CSEET. There are various other videos, various other live sessions where we have touched upon other topics as well. You can go through those topics. And if you are interested, if you like what we have done so far, I would suggest go to excelacademy.com, register yourself. Registration is free. You don't have to pay anything. And there are bonus videos there too. Go through those bonus videos. And then if at all you're interested, as I said, there is a sale going on. By the CS Foundation, that is CSEET video classes, which by far is the most competitive price from whatever we have seen, before 24th, and enroll for the classes. If you do so, we'll be meeting very often, weekly once at least, to make sure your doubts are clarified. Thank you guys for attending the live session. That's was our logical reasoning session. Thank you. See you.